What's going on YouTube? My name is Andrew, aka the Black Dragon. This is Black Dragon Studios, and this is another episode of iPlay Shadow Legends. Today I'm going to be doing a video on one of the best gear sets, I think, in the game, personally. One of the best defensive gear sets, one of the easiest farmable defensive gear sets, because we can make it in the Forge. I'm talking about the Guardian gear set, which can be farmed from doing Celestial Griffin in the Doom Tower. Okay, so you see here I'm working up. I got 21. I can craft 21 of these artifacts right now if I wanted to. I'm not gonna. That's not what we're here for. I'm not here to craft artifacts. We're actually gonna be doing a video today on how I take down the Celestial Griffin at level 185. So it's the second appearance on normal in the Doom Tower at like floor 70 or something like that. We'll go there in a minute, but first I just want to show you the gear set and who it might be best on, who I think it might be best on. Definitely HP based characters that have things like Ally Protect especially. So basically it's a 4 artifact set where absorbs. It is an Ally Protect set. It's not written in there, but that's basically what it is, and it's better than Ally Protect because the champion that's wearing it will heal for 10% every turn. So the wearer absorbs 10% of all damage dealt to ally champions. Now mind you, the low form of skill-based Ally Protect is 25%. So 10% Ally Protect is really not that good if you think about it. If it were in a skill, which wears off after like 2 or 3 turns usually. Sometimes people can keep it up 24/7, but that takes really good gear, and you have to get the right champions. There's very few champions in the game that are able to do that, even with the best gear on. So what we do have here is this, and usually they are wearing something like a Guardian set anyways, just to absorb extra damage. So this just makes an Ally Protect champion, I think, even better. A Reviver, a Cleanser, anything, man. Pretty much any defensive character except somebody that you'd want to be wearing a shield on defense could be wearing a Guardian set. A support champion especially, but I think this one's mainly for the Ally Protect, 100%, hands down. So let's go into pretty much what we're looking for on this gear, I guess. Would be definitely HP percent. We definitely want HP percent, defense percent, possibly some speed. If our character has relevant debuffs, we might want to spec some accuracy into our build as well. But we'll have 2 extra pieces of gear that we can use for extra speed or extra like perception, speed and accuracy. Or if we need more HP, we can go into a set like Resilience. I'm not too big into Resilience though. Usually if I'm going to go with extra health, it's going to be something like Immortal, which is 15% extra HP and heals by 3% every turn. Better when you use more than one set of Immortal, like 2 sets or something like that. But still, a 2-piece Immortal is pretty relevant on an HP character, like a character that gets bonuses. The higher their HP is, like 𝓑𝓵𝓬𝓷 would be a great person to have a Guardian set on. I just haven't found gear that would even come remotely close to getting her the level of speed, accuracy, and HP that she has built in with the amount of defense as well in this build yet. So I will look into getting that for her in the future. But the first guy that I'm going to be getting this Guardian set for here is Grumbler. Grumbler is my Ally Protect guy. Now I could have went with Azure, who has Aegis, which is 50% Ally Protect, but it can only be booked down to a 4-turn cooldown, and it only lasts for 2 turns. So it's only up for 2 turns, and I gotta wait 2 turns to get it back. Pending Reflex set doesn't proc, or even if he doesn't, you know, you couldn't even wear a Guardian set because I would need to put a Reflex set on him or a Relentless set on him to get that skill back to be back. And I'm talking about Clan Boss here. I'm building a Clan Boss team. And Ally Protect is just really strong in most Clan Boss teams, at least one Ally Protect guy. So I chose to go with Grumbler because he does have Shoulder the Weight. Now it's only 25% Ally Protect, but it places a 30% increased defense buff on him for 2 turns, and it lasts for 2 turns, and it can be booked to a 3-turn cooldown. Okay, so that's very important here, that it's, you know, I will have this up pretty much all the time against the Clan Boss. I know I'm going to be missing at least 1 turn, but I think it's better to just do it that way and then have the Guardian set on him, and hopefully I'm able to put in a lot of damage doing it that way, and just hope maybe sort of time it so that my Ally Protect wears off the turn that the Clan Boss does his stun or whatever. That's the turn where he's doing the least amount of damage to the entire team, and then I can just try to get him to target somebody with the stun and then heal them or something like that. I don't know, something. Obviously Grumbler's not a very good option for Ally Protect, but those are my only 2 options for Ally Protect at the moment, and I really don't have any other better option to go with than Ally Protect. Even at this rate, for me it's going to be, I think, the best thing to do. So we've given him a 4-piece Guardian set. Not that great of a set, still needs to be speed tuned, still need to figure it out, haven't even gotten the masteries, need to do some testing, tweaking and stuff like that, but this is what it's looking like at the moment. Okay, and I put him in Faction Wars with a defense gloves, defense chest, and a defense boots. So I just made sure that I got HP percent and some speed and a little bit of accuracy, but not too much, because again, I'm building him for Clan Boss. Don't really care about accuracy all that much on Grumbler. All I care about for him is Shoulder the Weight. And his Angry Mallet is actually not bad either. Places a shield buff on this champion equal to 10% of his max HP for 2 turns. So the higher his max HP, the better, which I really like about Grumbler's A1 is actually really good, considering what he's going to be doing on a team. He's going to be taking a lot of damage. Plus his damage is based off of HP and defense. I really like him. His kit is great, and he has a 25% aura as well. Increases ally HP in dungeons by 25%, which is fine. I mean, it's better than no aura at all. So could they have given him something better, maybe like increased defense in all battles or something like that? Yes, I think they could have, but for now I'm not unhappy with Grumbler. I will be happier when I get an upgrade, but for now he will do. So let's go over here and over to the Doom Tower, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to beat floor 50 on normal. What? It's going to be resetting in 13 hours? Okay, well anyways, this is how you beat the Griffin, regardless of if the floor is reset or not. Okay, this is the second installment, so we've already beaten the first one. The first one is, let's be honest, man, if you can't beat the first Griffin, it's literally a cakewalk. I could probably solo it, honestly. Let's just go in here. I'm going to solo this. I'm going to solo this with Venus. Like, this is how easy this level is. If she does go down, it's going to be to the waves, but even I don't think that the waves are strong enough in this one to beat her. Just auto this out. Now mind you, my Venus is pretty badass, but we're talking about soloing a level in the Doom Tower here. We're not talking about campaign, we're talking about the Doom Tower, boys. Look at her, she's handling herself real well here. in the early going. And the waves are harder than the Griffin on the first level. But this is just to give you a taste of the Griffin. Like, this is not what it's going to be like in the following installment of the Griffin. It's going to be 20 times harder. So I'm just sharing with you that the first, anybody could do, you could do this with level 40s probably. As long as you can get past the first waves of you know, level hundreds or whatever, then you can do this level of the Doom Tower. No problem. It don't matter what, really it don't matter a whole lot what the Griffin is doing in this. He does no damage and he has no health, so there you go. 𝓬𝓬𝓷 by Venus. He doesn't even transfer any buffs. Okay, so let's go back to the map here, and now we're gonna do the hard Griffin, which is the second one, is where it starts to get really nasty. Level 185 green affinity, which is really good if you have magic affinity, obviously, because you're gonna have a strong matchup here. I do tend to run a lot of magic affinity characters like Kale, Ninja. Ninja is a shoo-in for this one because of his hail burn. It's just so good against bosses, man. It does like 300 to 400k damage minimum, and he's not even booked. He's got most of his masteries, but he's still not fully mastered out. Venus is fully mastered out. So you're going to want damage, you're going to want drop defense. There's two ways to go about beating the Griffin. You could buff your team, and you could just try to make them super tanky. I really don't see that working too well though, because the second option, and the one that I choose to go with, is the Griffin will always remove debuffs first. That's the first thing the Griffin comes in and does, is he'll remove all debuffs. There's no way to counter this. There's no way to block this from happening. It just happens, and then shit starts to go crazy. Let's just be honest, man. The Celestial Griffin is an a-hole. The Celestial Griffin is a dick. So we gotta counter what the Griffin is doing. Okay, and the best thing to do is to debuff it, even though he's going to transfer or try to transfer, keyword is try to transfer, those debuffs over to us. By the time we've worked with the debuffs that are on him for even a turn, that should be enough to get us the damage we need to get through this level. And am I saying that any team could do this? No, but I'm just saying, do you need these guys here exactly to do this? Absolutely not. You could probably have a completely different combination of characters to do this level, but I think this is probably the best general route to take when going about doing the Griffin, and that's all I'm trying to say. So what we're going to go in here and do is we're going to not buff our team for the first turn. We're going to let him remove all the buffs, which he doesn't really remove any buffs because we're not buffed, and then we go ahead and debuff him. And then he's going to try on the second turn to throw all those debuffs, so say 5-10 debuffs, all over at our whole team. We're going to throw up a block debuffs right there before he can do that, and all those debuffs are just going to go into, they're just going to fizzle out, and nothing's going to happen. Okay? So I don't have a guy on my team that's speed tuned enough to make Marked the last person that goes, but you'll see that the Griffin will transfer a couple of debuffs over to Ninja right on the first try, and it will make the Griffin a little bit faster, and that will actually lead to the Griffin's demise, because it will make Marked, it will screw up the turn order for my team, and in fact they are speed tuned, because it will place Marked last on the team before the Griffin goes, and then she'll be able to throw up. I think Marked, or somebody like Marked, is necessity for Griffin, because her primary job in this group is to be throwing up a block debuffs buff right before the Griffin can transfer all those buffs. Okay? And then I have Kale in there. He's just a damage dealer, help us get through the waves. The waves are pretty tanky in this one. They're pretty shielded, and it's just really slow to begin with. A lot of this has to be done on manual. They're all level 60s. I think that is also very important because the Griffin's going to start to do a lot of damage in this level. Tried Mausoleum Mage. Mausoleum Mage isn't really as effective because he's putting up too many buffs. The Griffin is getting too much bonuses from removing such buffs, whereas Mark's buffs tend to wear off just before the Griffin is able to remove the buffs. Okay, and then 𝓬𝓸𝓷 in there for healing, big heals, and revive. So we got a reviver, we got a block buffs, we got 3 damage dealers, and then one has decreased defense and weaken. Actually 3 of them have decreased defense because Marked has decreased defense, Ninja has decreased defense, and Venus has decreased defense. And we have 2 poisoners, which is going to do a lot of damage. We also have 2 HP burners and a decreased attack coming from 𝓬𝓸𝓷. Okay, so let's get right into this here, and I'll show you how I go about doing this very tough farm, but very worth it. You can get 5-star epic gear and even legendary gear from this Griffin, so that'll help you in your mid stages really a lot. So let's start off here. I just auto the first little part here because they're doing all the same stuff that I would be probably doing anyways, except for that I wouldn't have put the buffs on. It's just not necessary for the first wave because they're doing nothing to us, and it's just a matter of trying to get through this as fast as possible and have up our Necro Mutation, which is our heal, our block debuffs, and our and Ninja's Hail Burn for the first turn of the boss, or by the time we need it, I should say, on the boss, which is either going to be on the first or the second turn. So really doesn't matter who we go for here. It's just like I said, it's just a matter of trying to take out these waves as fast as possible. Freezing them is always good because then they don't really get to do anything. They just kind of get to sit there and take a beating. I will say that all the people on this team have decent gear too. This is definitely one of the hardest bosses that I've faced, besides the Nether Spider. This is the second hardest boss that I've faced. Okay, so I'm not going to do this one first because this will place Veils on my team, and I do not want any buffs on my team for the first turn, so we're just going to pass that and go with an A1 here. But debuffs are fine here. Debuffs are absolutely fine. Most of them will wear off anyways by the time the Griffin comes around to transferring those. I'm not going to do Totemic Power just yet, which is the block debuffs one. I'm going to wait a turn to do that one. Let's go ahead and get a decreased defense. Since Venus wasn't able to land hers, we're going to try and land this decreased defense instead, so that would just deal some more damage. We're able to get that in. Things like Blood Shield Ring are not good to have against the Griffin because any debuffs, any buffs that the Griffin removes, damage increases by 10% for each buff removed, so that's why having any buff at all is not good right at this time. Okay, so okay, so now what the Griffin's gonna do is transfer all debuffs to me and then attack all enemies, and the turn meter is filled by 5% for each debuff transferred. And then this is the killer, man. Celestial Bond. Adds 1 Sky Bond to Griffin at the beginning of each turn. Also adds 1 Sky Bond ℘ whenever an HP drops below 50, and then each Sky Bond increases ℘'s attack by 5%, crit rate by 3%, crit damage by 5%, and speed by 2.5%. And as I told you before, that's actually going to end up working against the Griffin in this one, big time. Will ignore shield, block damage, and unkillable buffs when it has more than 10 Sky Bond buffs and can stack up to 20 Sky Bond buffs. By the time it gets up to 15, the damage starts to become insurmountable, so you want to have a fair amount of defense going into this, fair amount of HP, and a good amount of attack, but I wouldn't really like go crazy, like, you know, with any one thing. Just kind of keep a balance going into it here. So I am going to heal up, put the veils on, and take 15% less damage with those veils up, and start trying to smash while this decreased defense is up and weaken. But I'm going to try to do attacks, if I can, that don't debuff the Griffin right now. Acid Rain is a great choice. Venus is kind of screwed at this point. She's going to be debuffing the Griffin no matter what we do. See the Griffin's turn meter? See the rest of my team's turn meter. The Griffin is already going to be faster than ℘'𝓫, faster than Kale, faster than Venus. At this point, he's going to get a turn. The only one that's going to get hit with the debuffs at this point is Ninja, which is fine. That's just enough. That's perfectly okay. If I could change one thing about this team, I would speed tune it. That way the Griffin would never get a debuff, ever, my team. But this is how I'm going with it. I'm not changing my gear just for the Griffin. So here we go. And I'm going to hit him with that big smack with the Hail Burn while the defense and weaken is up. There's really no way to get around it. Someone's going to get debuffed one time, but the Griffin now has increased speed 5%, which should be just enough to start getting a little bit ahead of my team, which is a good thing. As long as the Griffin doesn't get too fast, that's a really good thing. So they're going to be removing all the buffs that are left on me so I can start to debuff. This is where I want to start hammering the debuffs. Don't have decreased defense up. Anytime I don't have decreased defense up, I want to get that up right away. Oh, and okay, I'm not getting it back this turn. That's... Oh wait, yeah, we'll have it back. We'll have it back. That's fine. I don't need it this turn anyways. This is actually a really good run so far. Now what's nice about Cyan Slash is it'll decrease the cooldown of Hail Burn by 1 turn, so anytime it's 2 or 3 or 4 counters on Hail Burn is a great time to use Cyan Slash on the boss. It also doesn't debuff the boss, so it's really good. And yes, so as you can see there, the turn meters have been all screwed up by the Griffin, and it's now working against the Griffin. So the Griffin is now no longer going to be debuffing anybody on my team. and I can just go ahead and heal up from that minimal amount of damage. And I have 2 turns to wait until he removes my buffs. So I can start hammering those debuffs again. That halberd is just nasty against the Griffin, man. He'll throw annoying fear counters out with his A1. It's not that bad. Where it starts to get really bad is when your HP drops below 50, he places a heal reduction debuff for 2 turns, and the stun can hurt too. You don't want to be doing too much turn meter manipulation with Griffin, because as you can see there, basically whenever your turn meter increases, Griffion's turn meter increases equally, and that triggers on every character that turn meter increases on. So, and whenever the turn meter is decreased, all of your guys get turn meters decreased as well. So, as I stated before, that's not the way to go with Griffin. I know it's usually doesn't take 11 minutes to do the run, it's just because I've stopped, paused, and talked so much. And there I got 3 golden feathers. With the purple outline, that's those are the ones that can make 4 to 5 star gear. Any rarity, it could be rare, it could be epic. Bloodthirst is a really good set to farm. You can get that from that's like life steal with crit rate added onto it, so it's, you know, it's really good. Good for clan boss teams and stuff like that. I mean, crit rate's not that important, I guess, but it is more relevant than lifesteal gear. Untouchable gear is really nice too. Immunity for 2 turns, resist 40, pretty good for arena. But I would say Bloodthirst is really the only other one that I would be concerned about, and you can get that from farming this boss, which is actually not as hard of a boss, but still can be kind of annoying. This guy right here, Eternal Dragon. So I'll do a different video on Eternal Dragon later on, but let's just say that the level 185 Eternal Dragon I haven't been able to figure out yet, so still working on that. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, leave a like and a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you thought of this video and how you might be able to get through the Celestial Griffin any differently than I did it today. And with that, I'm getting out of here for today. Peace out, y'all. Okay, looks like we have somebody that has used a referral code. ROLFLOLKEK has used my referral code, and once he or she gets to level 50, thank you so much for using the referral code. You send me your PayPal email and I'll PayPal you $10, like I said, like I promised in the first video. I really appreciate your work, and there's still 2 referral links left. I will leave that referral link in the description. Please, again, only use the referral link if you really do plan on playing the game. You will get rewards as soon as you start playing. As soon as you start playing, you'll get a rare skull tome, a sacred order ring, attack, gauntlets, and boots, epic 3-star gear, and you'll also get I think you'll also get rewards, different rewards as well. Like you may get some of these rewards as well, although it doesn't say for sure. I think you will get the same rewards as I'm getting here, but don't quote me on that. But still, you'll get guaranteed the $10 in your PayPal. That's something that I definitely will offer you, just for doing this for me. So I really appreciate that, ROL. And with that, I am for sure getting out of here for today. Peace out, y'all.